Hey everybody, this is Furea the Gaming Larvesta, and I have to say, welcome to my first top 10 video. This video is going to be about the top 10 Pokemon that I like the most. Now, this isn't a top 10 video of Pokemon that I would choose in battle. This was just a list of the Pokemon that I like the most. Feel free to disagree with me. Write your favorites in the comment section below. Feel free to like if you agree with some of these. Yeah, this is not like a definite these are the best Pokemon list. This is just my opinion and how I feel about certain Pokemon. We're gonna start off pretty nice with number 10. Number 10 is Durant. Now, I know that we're starting off with bug types, and you're all probably going to say, oh, this list is going to be pretty much all bug types. You're not correct when you say that. In fact, there's a large quantity of these that are not bug types. In fact, less than half this list is going to be bug types. Durant is a very special Pokemon to me, primarily because it introduced me into how cool the ability Hustle could be. Hustle is, if you don't know, it raises your attack power but lowers your accuracy. And Durant, when Durant came out, it gave a very underpowered type, the bug type, the power it needed, and it gave Steel types the speed Pokemon that it desperately asked for. Meaning that Durant coming out at all was a totally great thing, and it's great for both Bug and Steel trainers. Me, being a Bug type user, and Spade being a Steel type user, we both completely adore Durant and its ability to take physical hits without even, batting an eye, and its ability to dish out tons of damage really fast. Plus, it's adorable. Who does not like Durant? Number 9. Salamence. Salamence is one of those Pokemon that when I first saw it, I knew I had to have one. And so I got one. I remember how it was such a big secret. Dude, after you beat the Elite Four, you go into that room in the back of Meteor Falls and you can go catch one. You can go catch a Bagon, raised to be a Salamence. I was like, dude, that's cool. Salamence, Dragon Flying, it's nothing new. You've seen that before with Dragonite, but Salamence brings to the table what I generically saw as a dragon. As a kid, I always thought dragons stood on 4 legs, had wings, were big, monstrous beasts that could deal a lot of damage. That's what Salamence really is, and it's just, in my definition, it's the perfect embodiment of a dragon. Number 8. Larvesta. Now, I know you're kind of confused by the fact that I, Furea the Gaming Larvesta, put Larvesta at number 8 on my top 10 list. The reason being is because although it's cute and cuddly and I really like it, I have never really seen much of a use for Larvesta, other than really being kind of the whole mascot of my channel. Its stats are really poor, and that's why I never really decide to use one. But once it evolves into Volcarona, the stats are kind of fine. But the real reason I actually like Larvesta is, first off, it's the first fire bug type, and that's a really interesting combination that opens the door to a whole lot of possibilities, as well as the fact that it can have the ability Flame Body, which is one of my favorite abilities next to Poison Point. Larvesta, it's just adorable, and that's the reason why I like it. Number 7. Electrike. Electrike is one of the first electric types that I've actually grown to enjoy having around, especially it's evolved from Manectric. Electric is one of the Pokemon that I usually use reoccurring throughout a few of my stories, and Electric is actually the first electric type Pokemon I actually brought onto any of my teams, which is kind of amazing, as well as the fact that it's green, which is awesome, and it's adorable, and it's a puppy. Who doesn't want a puppy that can spark electricity? You can have a pet dog run your generator for you. It's a great idea. Number 6. Relicanth. Now, this is an odd one for me. When I first saw Relicanth, I wasn't sure what to make of it, but upon actually capturing it, it gave me a Pokemon that I actually wanted to give the HM dive to. And it not only was useful outside of battle for once, it was very, very useful inside a battle, because Relicanth is a physical fighter, which is really nice, and its water rock type is very comparable to Corsola in terms of defenses, but it lacks speed heavily, making it a sitting duck in terms of battle, and is therefore not really recommended. Although it is able to add quite the spin on a water team with such attacks as Takedown and Rock Tomb, but it's also just a great physical attacker for most water teams, although people would definitely prefer something like Feraligatr or Swampert above it. Relicanth is a good backup if you don't have access to any really good water Pokemon. Number 5. Skarmory. In the terms of Pokemon that make me ask the question, what the fuck? Skarmory is definitely up on the higher part of my list. Skarmory got its start in Pokemon Gold and Silver, and when I first encountered one, because the sprites back then were kinda weird, I questioned what the fuck it was. Later to find out it was an awesome metal bird that had blade wings, which is cool. Yeah. Skarmory is a pretty cool Pokemon for many reasons. One, it's Steel Flying type, which is odd. It's decently fast, so you don't really have to worry about the whole Steel type hindering your speed all that much. And plus, its ability to add Roost into the move pool is quite amazing for battle. The only downside I would definitely have to say is if you're roosting, you are going to be vulnerable to ground type attacks, because Steel type is still weak to ground at that point. Moreover, its weakness to fire is easily crippling it, but as an upside, it can easily counter any ice types that would normally defeather your freaking flying team. Plus, its ability to learn Steel Wing and get STAB from it, which is epic as all hell, makes it really one of the most usable Steel types in the entire series of Pokemon. Number 4. Meganium. Yes, the first and only starter Pokemon that actually makes this list, Meganium. A lot of people don't like Meganium for its pretty much lack of stats or lack of moves that it can learn, but I have learned on my own that Meganium is one hell of a beast to bring with you in any team battle. Meganium's ability to learn both Reflect and Light Screen to raise both your team's special and physical defense is quite undoubtedly one of the most helpful things to ever have in your party. Plus, its ability to have the move Synthesis to restore its own health after making such a tank wall, it's able to take massive hits and keep going once you set up both of those screens. That being said, you'd only be left with one attack, and what attack would I have chosen? Pedal Dance. First off, heavy damage, no charge time, and pretty much you're only really going to send Meganium out in the first place to set up the 2 walls and maybe have it kill an enemy or 2. Pedal Dance is the perfect answer to this because high damage, good accuracy, and it hits multiple times before you end up confusing yourself. And after you confuse yourself, you can just switch out because the walls will still be in effect, which is really nice to have. And that's why Meganium makes my list. Number 3. Magcargo. Now, not being a real fan of the fire type, I don't really like many of the fire Pokemon. That being said, Magcargo is quite an oddball to me because it's fire rock type, which is quite an interesting combination, opening the door to many possibilities other than being owned by water. Magcargo is a high physical wall for the fire type arsenal, which is really nice, and the fire types really needed more defensive Pokemon. Magcargo answered that completely and easily. Magcargo is actually one of the first fire Pokemon I actually really grew attached to, due to the fact that if I end up fighting flying type Pokemon, which would usually outspeed and one shot my fire types, that I could just rock slide them. It was really easy to get into the groove of using a Magcargo because then I won't need to lug around my Onix anymore. So having a Magcargo around in your team is not really a bad idea. Plus, its abilities help you hatch eggs faster, which is really nice to have around as well. And yeah, who doesn't want a giant snail made of lava? That's just pretty badass in its own right. Number 2. Eelektross. Yes, the electric eel of legend makes the top 10 list for not only being one of the few Pokemon to not have any weaknesses, Gengar, but it also screamed the question, why did they take so long to make an eel Pokemon? And it screams an even bigger question, did Digimon ever make a fucking eel? Like, really? This could be the one idea that Pokemon in the 5th generation did not steal from Digimon. I mean, with shit like them creating electric insects and gears, you really gotta question what they were really thinking when they were making the 5th gen. However, Eelektross is pretty cool because it's only electric type, meaning that only electric moves will get STAB from it, meaning ground types can easily shut that down. But ground type attacks will not affect it at all, which is pretty amazing. Plus, its design is really well made, and it actually looks like a really good Pokemon, which is really nice, because they designed it so well, and it actually resembles what it was supposed to be. Number 1! Okay, now I know I'm gonna probably receive a little bit of flack for this one, because this one came totally from left field, and a lot of people really don't like this Pokemon, Vivian. Vivian is very, very interesting to me in the fact that depending on where you are in the world, it'll have a different pattern. Moreover, its ability to learn a huge variety of movesets really makes it usable in battle. Although its poor defenses and average speed stat will allow it to usually get one-shotted by things, if you can enter it with a Quiver Dance or two, you can actually do a lot of damage to the opposing team with it. With a huge arsenal of moves, ranging from Draining Kiss to Bug Buzz to fucking Psybeam, like, you can have so many different setups for what you want to do. Also, it's the first time I believe that a bug type can get the move Hurricane, which is pretty badass for such a cute little butterfly. Moreover, Vivion's, the fact that its pattern is different depending on where you are in the world, that is just something that makes the entire Pokemon community want to get together and start trading. Because normally everyone was just, oh, I'm just going to go online and trade for legendaries or shinies. Now everyone wants to collect all these Vivian of different varieties, meaning they're seeking out people from other parts of the world and expanding their horizons upon who they're making contact with. I believe that them making Vivian this way was actually quite a brilliant idea in terms of not only bringing the Pokemon community together as a whole, but bringing the world together as a whole and trying to work towards the common goal of trading with one another to not only build up their team and their forces, but to learn from each other as well as help obtain the objects that they desire. And it's just mind-blowing how, despite the fact that almost everyone I know berates this Pokemon, it's really good in battle, as well as the fact that it is pretty much a staple as the Pokemon that pretty much unites the entire world, being that you need to trade with other people to get different patterns. So it's really amazing just to see how they finally brought out something that reaches out to everyone, everywhere in the world, and wants to make them come together. I'm kind of upset that it took this long, but they did it, and they did a great job making it the starting bug type for the 6th generation, which is really nice. And that's my top 10 list, and yeah. If you agree with some of this, please like and subscribe. I'll be doing more top 10s, and I'll see you guys next time. Love y'all. Bye.